Hello, this is Lila in Hawaii. If you've followed me in the past, you'll notice that I've over the years made fabric postcards, and I usually sell those in sets of 2, this being a set. Sometimes I do brides, sometimes I do pastels, just depends. And then the back of them is an old-fashioned postcard, and the back of this one is also an old-fashioned postcard. They're different, but they are old, copies of old, of course. Now, to finish them off, first of all, I piece them on a bigger piece. They have to be 4 by 6 inches, so 6 by 4. Let me show you. So that has 6 inches by 4 inches, because that's the size of a postcard. And if you want to mail them, they can be hand cancelled, and to go postcard rate, they do measure them. I've seen them measure them and make sure that they're exactly 4 by 6. Okay, so first of all, I'll show you kind of roughly how I start off. I cut a piece of fabric. This is muslin, and it's a little larger than 4 by 6. It's like 6.5 by 4.5, because that allows me room to trim later. So I've started to coordinate the fabrics that I want on there, and this at this point is the machine sewing, so that would be part of a set. I try and make them to go together in sets, and this one's another part of the set, and that's how the back looks on that one. And this one again is pieced onto muslin. This is really ready at this point to do some hand stitchery. I've sewn all the machine work that I can do, and now I'm going to take my needle and thread and either ribbon or just DMC cotton and do some, just some lazy daisies, some feather stitch, some roses, whatever, and finish the ornamentation. So when that's done, I then cut them very carefully to pretty much size 4 by 6. Then I have my backing ready, 4 by 6, and I place it on that. And the first thing I do is I do a straight stitch. This one I haven't finished, so I can show you. I do a straight stitch right around the edge, really close to the edge first. That's the first step. And then I go around and I make sure that I've cut any overhang off. If there's any little bits hanging out, I cut those off and make sure that that's still, the 4 by 6. And then the last step of attaching those is to do a zigzag stitch with a matching cotton, and I use usually embroidery cotton. Sometimes I use gold, and in this case I'm going to use a pale pink. And I've got the machine set up for that, so I'll go ahead and do that. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. Anyway, I'm going to zigzag that around. I only go around once usually. If I missed something I would go around twice, but no, once is usually enough. And I make sure that I use a closed-in foot. I don't want to use a foot that's going to be interfering with the different stitches I've got on there. I do have some ribbon work on these as the embellishment. Okay, I'm turning a corner. I'm not sewing too fast because I want the thread to lay on top, and in order to do that I loosen the tension quite a bit so that the bobbin thread is going to pull them down a bit, because it's obviously tighter, so that will pull the stitches down a bit, and it makes a nicer edging. I'm on the last side now. As I say, I'm going slow if you go fast, you'll break your threads or something else. I'd probably run over my finger or something if I went fast at this point. Okay, so there. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to have to move the camera back. Okay, there we are. So now I've gone and zigzagged all around the edge. It makes a really nice edge. You'll see I did do a little ribbon work, a sort of scrunch style ribbon work there, ribbon rows and a ribbon rows there. On the other one that's completed, I did do some ribbon flowers here. What else did I do? Oh, a few leaves and so forth there on that one. She's wearing some hat veiling. I try and think of different ways to embellish them. I like hats. I like to put something across the head. This lady had a hat on, so she didn't really need anything. But the other one has the hat veiling. Now, the other thing I'll show you is how I go about piecing. And I'm not going to take time to sew it. I'll just sort of give you a rough idea. So this would be the next two that I make. So let me see, I'll take this one. I've already adhered a picture, which was an iron-on fabric print that I did. So that's done. I keep a box of scraps. It's a big box here. And it's all sorts of scraps that I've used in the past. And so what I'm going to do is pull out some, not that. Let me see, I'll pull out that. And I'll pull out that. Just anything I think has a little bit of... Okay. Okay, I think that's more than plenty. Okay. So the first thing is I always make sure I put a foundation of some sort of fabrics, and I like to lay them cornerwise at first. So there we go. So that's cornerwise, a piece there. Seems to me that would be good. I don't want to hide her flowers too much, so I may move it to a different corner. And let me see what else. I have this piece of very nice glitzy brocade. It's pink with a sort of a pale pink with a gold thread through it. That might be quite nice. This has a cutout on it, so maybe I can work with that. Maybe I can play with that and work with that. Let me see if that works. Okay, so that would be... So it's a question of putting the fabrics out, tucking them under. I don't want it to be all pinky, so I could come up with a bit of green maybe. And this is an old piece of curtaining that I dyed. Let's see. So I could put that there. And what have I got here? I've got a piece of velvet here. Let me see. Yep. See, I've got a piece of velvet. That might work. Okay. And then I still need to do that. And remember that this is a ½ inch bigger all around, so that means it can stick out over the edge because it's going to be cut off. Okay, what else have I got there? Oh yes, I've got a piece of silk, very, very pale pink silk, and maybe that would be nice. A scrunch somehow. Okay, so I could do something like... I'm going to just pin this. So here we go. Okay, so I could do that. This is not in the right place. I've got, oh, here's a little piece of pink netting lace, might be good there, and I don't know what that is, piece of gold something or other, looks good on there. I still have this piece of velvet, and so on, and I just keep building this up. I'm not going to take a whole lot of more time because it's kind of a, I think I'm going to have to cut that off. It's in the way. Okay, so what I do is I tuck it under, tuck it over, just depends. And then I've got another piece of something there, and I don't